ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to GTC Newsroom. I'm your host, Chris Ball, also known as Presidio Dog. The drivers have been super anxious to see how this first round of racing is going to go, so let's get to it. First, some breaking news regarding the weather. Cold front came into Stavelov overnight. It actually started yesterday with torrential downpours, and it looks like the main part of the storm is going to pass before the green flag drops, with some lingering showers into the very beginning of the race, mostly during qualifying. Should dry up maybe 10 or 15 minutes into the race. Mother Nature is going to do her thing. But the big news is there's some really significant flooding that was happening on the track, and we actually have some video or some pictures of it. So you can see this is all the water coming down right after turn one, heading down to Eau Rouge. It's like a giant river of water down there, and you can see from here that the water is pouring out of the grandstands and into the pit lane exit. So it's been just monstrous flooding. Everything's been kind of crazy there. So the big news about all of this is that the flooding has actually damaged the timing and pit equipment for our normal pit exit. So we're going to be switching to the 24-hour format. Well, the race direction has decided that that's how that's going to be, because they can't get the timing equipment to work leaving the pit exit. And so we're going to be using the 24-hour pit exit, which means we're going to be using the 24-hour start, which means the starting grid will be after turn one on the way down to Eau Rouge. That's where everyone's going to start. So that should help minimize a bunch of turn one problems, because everyone wants to win it in turn one, right? So it's going to be everybody heading down to Eau Rouge side by side. So I'm not sure how much, if that's better or not, but we'll see how it goes. But the pit exit's going to be the big bonkers scenario for everybody to deal with, because that pit exit, you get those left-hand tires on any part of that white line all the way up the hill and onto the track, and that's a 3-second penalty for the drivers, and that equates to closer to a 6-second penalty when you lose all that time on the final sector. So drivers need to be really aware of that and really cautious. As far as the track weather goes, it should dry up probably in the first quarter of the race. We should be able to get to the slick tires sometime in the race, probably within the first half of the race for sure. And because of the damage to the pits, the race is going to start later in the day, so the track can dry out more and get more of that storm past us. So we'll be racing into the night, and so the lights will be coming on at Spa and finishing that race up in the dark. So that should be a lot of fun for the drivers. So we will definitely get out on those slick track tires, that's for sure. So while we're here, though, I have a special guest with me, and some of you know him as Pixteca. I know him as Pixteca, and also Julio. Let me bring him on board and see if we can find him. Let me just click this little fancy button right here, and boom, there he is. Julio, how's it going, my man? I can't hear you, sir. I think you might have yourself muted up there. Do you want to...
There we go. Hello.
There you go. I can hear you now.
Hello, Chris. Greetings from Mexico City.
Hey, how's the weather down there today?
Pretty warm. Maybe not as warm as where you are, but not enjoying it. We
I'm
love some
in
cold.
the Pacific Northwest. Nothing is warm. It was like 30-something degrees this morning when I got up. So yeah, we're supposed to have spring. It is not shown.
Yeah, and I'm glad I don't have the same weather as the guys are gonna have at Spa, because with those floods, not fun.
Nope, it's not going to be fun. But you know what? I've seen a lot of the guys out there practicing, driving out on the wet tires. They've been trying out the intermediates. They've been trying out the wet tires during practice. So those who have planned and prepared should probably do okay. What will be interesting is how the qualifying looks like it's going to be wet qualifier. That's going to really add a little spice to the mix, because we may see drivers that are really good on the wet tires and not as good on the dry tires, and vice versa. We might see the faster guys that are just alien drivers out there that would blast, what is it, 118s? 120s down there? 118s, right? Or even faster. but they may just suck on the wet tires. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
But anyway,
yeah, and half an hour sounds like a lot, but when you want to get your fast lap in, you want to have you want to have more time. So
yep,
it's gonna be
absolutely.
interesting.
Well, hey, thanks for showing up here. For everybody that doesn't know, this is Pixteca at Hyper. He does all of the graphics for GT Champions, like all of it. The website graphics, all the graphics for the posters that you see in our social media platforms and in our streams and in the broadcasts, all of that stuff. So thank you, sir, for that. And I want to give you a little time to just talk about Hyper, what you guys do, who you are, and a little bit about yourself. Go right on ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I started doing this around 7 years ago, doing some design work for a local race driver. And then it started evolving until I started doing more stuff, and I started doing also photography, videography, and video editing, and it started growing until I also done trackside photography for WEC, for Formula E. So I had the luck of being trackside and have those huge BMWs, and then those much smaller but incredibly sounding LMP1s there at the here at the Autodromo. So it's been fun, and now I've been getting involved with sim racing teams, some leagues. We have a small sim racing team as well. I have some guys that do iRacing, Assetto Corsa, and of course Gran Turismo Sport, now GT7. And of course, about a year ago, we started doing some of the GT Champions stuff with you, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun for us to be involved in the project.
Yeah, you've been involved in this project with GT Champions and RWB Racing for since before GT Champions was even announced, which was last year in April. So it's been just over a year since we spun up GT Champions and ran the first World Cup, first event that way. Of course, with all of our sponsors, Detailing Group, who's been there forever. You guys have been there. This season we had Tatiana at Pride at the Dragon, and we have 12 Ounce Sports, of course, and the newcomer Metropolis. But from the very beginning, you and Tatiana have been there from the start. She's been there in the broadcast booth for everything, and you've been there helping us get the website looking as pretty as it does. And if you guys want to check it out, gtchampions.com. You can check out all his work. It's fantastic. I love it. And so it's really nice having somebody that helps that understands the racing world and also enjoys doing this just as much as we do.
Yeah, yeah. It's not only a job; it's also a hobby. So when your work is your hobby, you just enjoy every part of it.
Yeah, what do they say? If you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. And
Yeah,
so
yeah, exactly.
so that's me. You know, I get to work in technology and do all that stuff all day long, and so I love screwing around with this stuff. It's a lot of fun. So, GT Champions, you've been around helping us with World Cup, designing the number plates that we have going on the cars, designing the logos, and helping us get all the decals and all of that other stuff, the window banners and the whole 9 yards. It looks so good, man. It really, really looks good. You do such a
Thank you.
good job, and I know that actually after doing some work with GTC, you've been able to get a few other projects with some other people. I know you've done some corporate website stuff. I know that you've got some other people asking you for like their Twitch stream backgrounds and banners, and you've worked with some other leagues helping them do that stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, a few things, a few teams, and also a couple of drivers, some streamers as well have reached out to me and just asked for some work for them, which is it's really cool because makes you understand how they see their well their job. It's something that they mostly do for fun, but they also try to find more gigs for them. They want to do this league or they want to do this game or anything. So it's fun. It's fun to be able to take part in all these projects and see all of them grow.
Yep. Well, you do a great job of it, man. Speaking of great jobs, we came together when GT7 came out, and you and I behind the scenes were like, we need to do a season of something, right? We didn't want to do World Cup right away because we know that the lobbies are broken. And we knew that something, we wanted to wait and make sure the bugs got worked out. And we weren't sure how many bugs we were going to get. We got a lot. GT7's a mess when it comes to the lobby. So bringing in our big sponsors, our big paying sponsors to run the whole series, like D-Channel Group and Metropolis, it's just not ready for that level that we do. Well, the racing is, the lobbies aren't. I guess I should say it that way, right? And so I had this thing in mind of doing a series, and I know that you had this thing. Hey, you want to sponsor a series and do all the graphics works in exchange for the sponsorship. And so I think it was a pretty good little marriage. And so I decided, let's do a Porsche Cup and put this car in on some tracks that everybody loves, like Spa and Nürburgring. Try out some of the new tracks like Alsace Test Course. Daytona Infield, but that's going to be fun. The high speed runs, and then into those nice twisty bits where the Porsche really excels in the twisty bits, right?
And at night.
Yeah, and at night that's going to be a lot of fun. And then I think the last course we're at Laguna Seca, so it's a fun course at Laguna Seca.
Yeah.
And the I think the one part that's really going to kill people is the corkscrew in that car.
Yeah.
Now, coming over the top isn't going to be so bad, but the dive down or is going to be the bad part. The dive down is not so bad because all the weight transfers to the front, which is what you want for that car. Coming over the hill, everyone's going to just go flying off the track. But that's for another interview. We're talking about Spa. Now, tell me about, you got some drivers on your team at Hypre that are going to be racing in Spa. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we're gonna have 3 drivers in the series representing us. Jonah in Division 1, and Average Tom and Forza Ferrari in the lower divisions, and it's just gonna be fun from watching them. Jonah has been doing iRacing events with us, and I've been watching him do a lot of Gran Turismo stuff, so it's going to be fun with him taking part in his first Gran Turismo event with us. And Tom, who is also supports us with a lot of admin work in the team, so big shout out to him. And he's also been in the World Cup, and he was a runner-up in his division in the World Cup, so happy to see him there as well. And Forza Ferrari, who's a driver that has recently joined us, so we're ready to see him there on track as well.
Yeah, that's one of the things that when we were setting up GTC, right, like in its infancy, like in the planning and developing, I remember one of the things we talked about was, and I talked about this in the podcast that Viper's Fang was doing, Finding Your Line, the drivers,
Yep,
right, was that we wanted to put together something that would give drivers an opportunity to be seen and even have opportunities for real life sponsorship and things like that. So we have a lot of new people joining up teams. I believe one of the drivers named Teasbap has joined with Icer.
Okay.
Squirmy and Ninja Kid and a couple others. Well, Squirmy and Ninja Kid are officially branded RWB drivers and will be running RWB liveries this season. We have 11 RWB drivers across the 3 divisions, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then we have Sector 1 is here. I think Colin is the one from Sector 1 Racing. He's a World Cup driver. I think Nux wasn't going to be able to make it in this one. So there's just a lot of guys from World Cup that are moving over. Whole lot less Australians than there were, in the World Cup. But, when it's 6 o'clock in the morning, maybe they don't want to get up that early. So, that's a thing. But anyway, So how do you feel about this race? And now I know that you're a reserve on the reserve driver list. Are you going to try to run on Saturday?
Definitely not. Definitely not. I am. My thing is on this side of the business. I want to create. I want to be on my keyboard, not on my keypad.
Well, yeah, this is and that you mentioned that is um, this is the first GT Champions event I'm actually going to finally compete in, right? I've been doing the streaming for the last several seasons, and I've never got to even participate in the World Cup. Well, I take that back. I did 2 rounds, and then our streamer didn't show, and so I had to pull out to
Okay.
do the streaming,
Yeah.
which was really depressing because I really wanted to do that But it is what it is, right? When you're running a league or a series, you kind of have to make sure the series runs. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess I
And
have
you
to do
deserve.
that.
Yeah, and you deserve the fun. I think GT Champions has done a good job, not only in creating a league, but also a community, and that has included great streamers. So you get to be on track, and you also get to have a really good streamer in Justin doing this season. So yeah, I think you get to have fun on the track. Um, Hopefully, much more fun that you had at the qualifiers. But yeah,
Yeah, I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. Oh, well, you know what? I've been practicing at Spa, and I've got that track down pretty great, even in the wet. I finally figured out, in that Porsche, you've got to have the throttle and brake control to keep that car stable in the slow speed corners, like the final chicane
yep,
and turn one. That car's going to go spin right around on you if you're not careful. So, um, having the brake and throttle just right through those corners makes a huge difference. And I'm getting some pretty good lap times. I'm confident I'm going to do top five. I haven't competed with all of these guys before on the track, right? I mean, I did All Stars, right? So, but that was in a little GT4 Suzuki Swift. It's not a Porsche GT3 car
yeah.
on Spa. So, we'll see how I do, right? I just want to have fun. I want to get out there and have a good time.
Yeah, but you mentioned a great point. All of the guys that have practice, that have that experience of being in the wet on this track, are gonna have a huge difference in their performance this Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've seen a lot of people opening lobbies every single day, wet, 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 just practicing, trying to get handle on that car. And most of the race is going to be in the dry. 75% of the race is going to be in the dry. It's just going to be the qualifying, and maybe the beginning part of the race when the track is drying up. After that storm goes by, it should, and having all the extra cars on the track is gonna help dry it
Yep.
up quicker too. So we'll see. It's gonna be iffy. It's gonna be. I really think it's the beginning of the race is going to be really crucial on who can stay on the track in the
Yep.
wet tires without sliding off, right?
Yeah.
And keeping a decent pace, and who has the balls to jump to the slick tires first, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone's going to be watching that little meter, and once it gets hovering down that first hash mark on the grip level meter, you're going to see a lot of cars diving into the pits looking for those tires. You might see people waiting. You might see them holding up and saying, I don't know if the rain is done or has it dried up enough, right? So it's all going to be about experience. So I bet you in the Division 1 we see those guys jump onto those soft tires the minute that line is right there. The rest of us in Division 2 and Division 3, we might wait a tad bit longer. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it
Yeah.
goes.
Actually, we saw in the qualifiers how much difference guys could have on strategies. It was the qualifiers. I didn't expect that much strategy or difference in strategies at the qualifiers, but you could see it right there. So this being the first official race of the season, we're gonna see a lot of that as well.
Yep, we sure are. Well, all right. Well, hey, I want to thank you for your time and coming by. I'm going to give you a chance to give your last shout outs to everybody before we end this thing out. So the floor is yours for anything you want to say.
Thank you. Well, just thank you for having me, and of course, all the guys in my team for their time, but also all the drivers that are going to take part in this and that have taken part in the previous GT Champion seasons, because we can organize anything that we want, but if the guys don't come, there's nothing. So thank you to all the guys that signed up, that and they're going to be racing, and I just hope they have fun. We're going to have a little prize for the winner of Division One. Maybe not something big, but something they'll surely like. And just hope everyone has fun, and don't forget to follow the whole season, both on the track and also on the streams, because it's going to be live, and they should enjoy it.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. So, hey, thanks for hanging out with me. So, pardon me. So, folks, that was our man Pixteca, and I wanted to say thank you to him again. And folks, we'll see you guys later in the day when you all show up at Spa to get your racing on. So make sure you watch us live, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and we'll be there to see you. All right, thanks guys. Hang on.